Hi, I'm Kim Bourgeois Landry, and welcome to the Wonky Quilter. Well, today I still want to talk more about English paper piecing. That's really what I've been paying attention to the last month. English paper piecing and sashiko. I am, and I've told you this before, I'm trying to limber up my fingers for classes that I'll be taking at the end of October, beginning of November in Houston, Texas. I am going to market festival. So I am hoping that I'll see some of you there. And I've been watching videos and stitching and studying and shopping. I've been shopping for the few things that you need, and both of them are, I would say, hand stitching in general is a less expensive way to quilt, but it's not free, but there's still lots of tools you could get. And of course fabric costs money, which is why I like to scrappy shop, but I'm also a big thrifter. Before we go any further, I want to show you what I thrifted this week. It's not all quilting. I just want to show you what I bought. I think I give the impression that I shop a lot and I spend a lot of money, and I do like to shop. I'm not going to even kid you. However, I am in a place where if I'm not going to use it, I don't know, maybe except for fabric, but I try not to bring things home anymore just because I found something that's valuable or would be really nice to have. If I don't have a use for it, then I am not honoring it, and I'm doing my best to buy what already exists instead of perpetuating the must have more, make more, throw away kind of society that we live in. So this is what not quilted. I didn't quilt anything this week, but this is what I thrifted this week. This is my all of my purchases. I bought this. It's $1, just a black box. I'm about 5'7", so my hands, it's not that big. I haven't even taken the sign off. Open it up, and it's a travel jewelry case for travel. Let's see, if I put my hands on it, you might be able to see it better. This is for necklaces, and it has a little, you hang your chains here and rings, and then this opens, and this has space for earrings, little boxes for earrings. So it's covered in probably like naugahyde. It feels like leather. I don't know what it is. It matters not to me, but it was a really good size. I will store this inside my suitcase and pack up my jewelry in it when I'm ready to go to Houston in the fall or any other weekend where I might need more than the jewelry that I just normally wear, a pair of earrings and a couple of rings. If you change your clothes a couple of times, this will fit all your jewelry in it probably rather well, So I bought this. $1. That was a good purchase. I bought this by Casio. I checked every single button. It works well. It's solar. It is good for a person my age with not seeing as well. It's got big old, buttons. And like I said, I did check it to make sure all the buttons worked. 99 cents. It works on the sun. Hello? Who doesn't need that? Honestly, I'm going to make good use of that. I bought this basket. Even if this basket, these are real kind of happening right now. It's got little wooden handles. It's not broken or damaged. I felt around since it's got wire to make sure it didn't have any sharp edges on the top or the bottom that could harm one of us or pull anything, and it's in perfect condition. Whoever owned it, it held light bulbs evidently, and this was on sale for $1.99, so $2. like I said, these are very much in fashion. I'll put this in my utility room and put little bags of chips and nuts, little boxes of craisins and raisins that I keep for my grandchildren. And they love cashews. I always have little bags of cashews for just pulling out little snacks to run in the car, you know. So for $2, 3, 4, all things that I can use, that I have an absolute use for. So this is the best thing ever. I got this at a Goodwill. I have not had this happen at a Goodwill in forever. This is a new, and when I say modern, I mean modern times, like somebody might have made this a month ago. It smells like starch I recognize. It's a pattern. It's ironed. It's just, I don't know why this person chose not to sandwich it. I laid it on the floor. All the seams lay flat. She's beautiful. She's a beautiful piece. It is not a twin size. It's a throw size. I don't know the name of the pattern. It goes from dark to light. I'll show you the color scheme. It starts blacks and greens onto grays, more and more white. It's just beautiful. This would work well for a woman or a man. I think it's just beautiful. I don't know the name of the pattern. I haven't even tried looking it up or anything. I was just so delighted to find it. And it's really pretty. $2. $2. This never happens to me. It's not true. I'm lucky when it comes to thrifting. I can find some good stuff. I really can. But I know that there are people out there who are, when it gets darker down here too, the bigger pieces. So it's like I said, she's beautiful. It doesn't necessarily match my aesthetic for my home, but I surely don't dislike it. I don't know if I will quilt it. This will be, I mean, I have no money invested in it, so this would be a really good one for me to try to quilt on my machine, to sandwich and quilt, because it's not so large that I would have to really fight with it a lot, to just straight line quilt it all the way down, just straight lines. But I always like to have one or two like this, smaller pieces, simple quilting design. I mean, it's not as intricate as some pieces might be, you know, some pieced quilt tops might be. Because every once in a while somebody will come here, you know, around my age, in the mid-50s, and say, you know, I've always wanted to try it. I just don't know how. I don't know if I'd be any good. I don't know what to buy. And I could let them leave here with, you know, a tote with a quilt top in it, and instructions on how to just straight line quilt it, hand quilt it, if that's what they want to do, and leave here with thread and maybe a pack of needles and I don't know, a seam ripper, because you know I have a lot of seam rippers, and maybe to start someone else, because I'm going to tell you, Miss Stella Guidry helped me like that. I had a vintage quilt top, and I went into a store, and she was there, and she said, this is what you need, this is how much money do you want to spend on scissors, how, you know, and she helped me to buy, I mean, she just walked me through it. I would not have known what to get. And she said, don't buy the back. I'm going to give you a back. Come to my house tomorrow or the next day when you can set aside a couple of hours. And I made an appointment with her, and I did that. And she gave me a beautiful piece of muslin that was large enough to sandwich the whole back. I think that's 108 inches is what it is. She just pulled out this and said, let's measure you up, and she sandwiched it for me. I brought the batting that I bought and the safety pins, and she taught me how to pin it. She did about a third of it, and then she said, come on, girl, you know. And then I started pinning, and we were pinning together, and even though she saw me in a store, I was fixing to start quilting myself. I would not have stuck with it if she had not gifted me and given me my first lesson, even though it wasn't in the form of a formal lesson. Like, I didn't go to her house and pay her money for a lesson. It like happened between friends, and you know, this may give me the opportunity to do that. If not, I can quilt it for myself, or I mean, I might give it to one of the women in my guild who quilts for Quilts of Valor, or the Linus Project, where kids in the system get moved from house to house all the time, and they don't have anything that belongs to them. But if they have a quilt that somebody put some love into and made by hand, that might give them at least a step up when they're feeling scared one night. Do you know? So this may go to something like that. And I know that there's probably women who are piecers who are going to feel offended, who may feel offended. I don't know that you would feel offended that this pretty thing sold for $2. Like, didn't they know the value of it? Well, it was given to Goodwill, and Goodwill put it up for a price that they thought would keep it moving. And yay for me. I mean, I don't see a good reason to be offended by that. The woman who made this, or man, I don't know why I said woman, because it could have definitely been a man also. The teenager, the child, whoever put this together, decided not to quilt it. They just gave it away. And now it's in the hands of somebody who's really going to appreciate it. And I will try to put it in the hands of somebody who will appreciate it again. So this quilt top is probably going to make at least 4 or 5 people more happy than the average quilt that's made by one person for one person. We're just going to keep this thing, make people smile and feel gifted, because that's what happens. Sometimes you just have to recognize when you've been gifted and accept it. Yay for me. So this doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's a really, you feel good, you feel lucky, you feel blessed, and you want to pass that on to someone else. So that's the good thing about that, do you know? So that is just my thrifting for the week. It was a $6 purchase. $2, $4, $5, $6, and then tax. So it was under $10, and all really good things. I went to my local quilting store in Broussard. It's about a 20-minute drive for me. I don't shop there very often. It's A&A Sewing, and they're lovely people, and I don't really do that much shopping there because Lola Pink Fabrics is like less than a mile from my house. I mean, people are going to want to smack me for being so close to 2 quilting stores. I'm actually that 20 minutes from a store in Sunset also that I have not even been in yet. I will start shopping in her shop too. I hear it's very lovely, but some people have to travel an hour or maybe 2 to get to a local quilting store. I'm so lucky, you know. So I drove on into Broussard, and Broussard is where I took the English paper piecing class. So I went there specifically to buy a couple of things that I wanted to buy. One were this by paper pieces. I just saw I heard a podcast by the owner of Paper Pieces. It was really good. And I mean, I already own several things from this family's company. So it was good to hear the owner talking on the podcast for that's Just Wanna Quilt podcast. Just Wanna, WANNA Quilt podcast. And you just look up paper pieces, or I mean, they put them out every few days, and it's always something very interesting about quilting and copyright. So listen to that. That was a side note. Okay, now I bought these, and they're 1-inch squares because that goes with the piece that I bought that makes this. What is it called? The honeycomb, elongated honeycomb, and it's called oh my gosh, what is it called? Something of the crosses. I can't remember. Anyway, this has places for little 1-inch squares. I did not buy a template. I don't even know if they make a template, a 1-inch template, but I'm going to try to just cut out some solid colors and add into those, you know. I also bought this by SueDaley. Can you see that? SueDaley. Fussy cutting mirror. I decided I'm trying to train my eyes, if you listen to my last one, on how to see shapes in a way that you recognize what the pattern may look like. I cut one this past week, was angled, you know, and I cut them out. They were so pretty, and then when I started putting them together, I realized they look like a swastika. I just threw them away. I didn't even save the papers out of them. I was just like, nope, not working. No. So I didn't actually throw them away. I could, instead of 4, I can make 6 or 8, and it won't show that way, do you know? But they weren't going to be used in that way. It kind of creeped me out when I saw it. So I recognize that it's a skill. It really is a skill to see the fabric and see designs that aren't in the fabric that you're fixing to create. That's what these mirrors come in handy for, you know. You could make this. This cost, it was a little under $20. Something like $17 to $19, I think you can find these. This one's not made out of glass. It's like a heavy plastic, but it really looks like a mirror. I mean, it's a very clear mirror. I'm gonna just move this down so you can see what happens. I put this piece of fabric here. So you open this mirror up. Let's see if I can open it now. And then you are able to see what 4 or 6, if you cut, what, I don't know how to explain it. You're able to see the kaleidoscope that will take place if you cut it in a particular place. See, look at that. This is a shape that is not in the fabric. So is this. So is this. So is this. So, look at that, how cool. Let me show you one more piece. These are 2 pieces of fabric that I bought out of a scrap basket and from a layer cake that somebody just didn't like these pieces. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, this is a great tool. So for almost $20 for me, that's a very serious tool. But I'm going to tell you, it's a sweet little mirror. You can make it yourself. But I thought, you know, this is small enough. It's big enough. It's got little hearts on it. Who doesn't love that? SueDaley. Look at her videos on YouTube, and I'm sure that she has books and whatnot. But she's got it going on. She understands this business, do you know? Really good. So I bought this and was very thrilled with it. I've been playing with it, but I haven't cut any fabrics as of yet with it. But it's really amazing what can be done. I also, you gotta know by now, I love a good seam ripper. And I've made jokes about people telling me that they used something like a scalpel. And I'm like, girl, I'd be ripping up fabric left and right. But when you start having to rip one of these, you really recognize that those people who have one, these scalpel things, they're English paper piecers, because it's such a tight connection. It really is. So I bought this. I'm scared of it. Okay, there's the blade. Look at that. There was another one in the store too that was stainless steel, but it looked really scary to me, so I didn't buy that one. I am going to, you know, work with this. If I mess up again, you know what? I might not even mess up again now that I have this tool. But this may keep me from damaging the fabric, so I'm excited about that. I also, I did not buy this. I had it already, but now I'm thinking I might know what this might be for. So cutting little pieces with this might work. Jamie Duval told me that she really didn't trust herself. She wanted to use scissors. Scissors is really a slow stitch kind of thing. I don't know, it's a powerful tool when you're wanting to slow down and be really present to what you're doing. Using scissors is a way to go. But I don't have a good pair of fabric cutting scissors. Because I've been a hand quilter, I don't really, and I use rough kind of, however they're shaped, kind of pieces of fabric to sew with. I have snips. So until I get a good pair of scissors, I think I'm going to try to use this, my smallest Olfa rotary cutter. And Olfa has it going on. Their blades are amazing. So these are the things that I bought this week. 3 items: my mirror, my gypsy seam ripper. That was another reason this went out before the stainless steel one, just because the name is Gypsy. Hello, who didn't want the Gypsy? So I have a feeling this is going to come in really handy. And about that, the mirror, the little squares, the papers that are in the 1-inch square, and then my quilt top, my calculator, and my jewelry suitcase. So it's been a good week. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I hope you'll go to my YouTube page, like it, share it, and please subscribe and leave a comment. I love hearing from you guys, and I hope to talk to you again soon. Come back and see me. Okay, I'm Kim Bourgeois Landry, and this has been the Wonky Quilter.